Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you guys how to make this dress. So first thing, we're going to start with tracing the pattern. So as you can see, I started my pattern at 7 and then I marked where my armhole is supposed to be. So this line is basically your armhole divided by 2, which is here, or you can do your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. That length is somewhere here for me. And then after that, I have my shoulder to my nipple line, and then my shoulder to my under bust at 15, my shoulder to my waist at 17.5. So once you've marked everything, the next thing you're going to do is to insert your dart. So I'm going to come down here and do my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half an inch, 4.5. And then I'm also going to mark it on this line too. And then I'm going to connect the two of them all the way to this nipple line. And then I'm going to mark half an inch on this side, connecting it here. And then also half an inch on this other side, connecting it here. So once this is done, the next thing I'm going to do is same, I'm going to also put in my nipple to nipple divided by 2, mark it here. But up here I'm going to do, so guys, I'm going to mark 0.75 on this part here and 0.75 on this other part here. If a smaller person, you can go ahead and just do half an inch. And then from there now, I'm going to connect from this point here also all the way to this point. Right, like you're going to still connect that straight line in the center, and then you're going to just go ahead and give it a curve from this point here all the way into this line, and then also on this other side too. And then once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and start to insert my measurement. At this upper part here, I'm going to just do, you can do your shoulder measurement divided by 2. That is like, if your shoulder is 16, you can do divided by 2, which is going to be 8. Instead of using 8, you can subtract 2 from it. But what I'm going to do instead of that, I like to do like, let's say 5.5 inches, because the sleeve is going to be elastic, just so it will give me more grip. So I'm going to do like 5.5 at the top part of this here, which will be somewhere here. And then I'm going to put back this measurement from this part here, which is 1.5, insert it back to complete my shoulder. And then after that, I'm going to come down to this chest line here and insert my bust measurement divided by 4, which is 42, mark it here. And then I'm going to connect from this point here to this point here. So just like that, I'm going to give it a curve here, just like this here. And then once that is done, I'm going to also, on this same line, I'm going to insert this measurement from here, whatever that is. So it's like half an inch here. So I'm going to add back half an inch on this point here. So, and then I'm also going to go ahead and add 1 inch of seam allowance. The same thing on my waistline, waist divided by 4, which is going to be about 9. Insert this 1 inch here back. And then I'm going to add back 1 inch of seam allowance, and that's basically it. So from this point now, I'm going to connect it to the bust, just like this. And then this is going to be my side seam allowance. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut from this point all the way out like this, and cut it out. This is my half an inch on both sides of my dart. I went ahead and marked it straight across, like straight all the way to the top, instead of the way it was initially for our darting. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to also give it a curve from this point to this point. This is going to better like define the curve of my, to go ahead and connect it all the way from this point to this point, and then turn it around again and mark it again from this point here to this end here. You see, so this 1 inch, this half an inch here, I brought it straight across. This half an inch, I brought it straight across, and then curve this out. So now all I have to do is on this my under bust line, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So I'm going to cut this at this point here. So I'm going to cut it on this straight line here. So guys, now with this upper one, I went ahead and traced a different one from this, and then I'm going to, because this one I'm going to be splitting it, but this one I'm going to use it as my the inner lining. So this one here I'm going to be splitting it. You see, this upper part here, all I did is just to trace exactly what I have on this paper, because I'm going to use this for the slash method to get the ruffle thing at the gather thing at the bust. And then this other one here, we are going to just split it open so that we can be able to cut out what will serve as our cup. You see, I've cut it out. This is what it looks like. So this center part here will be cut on a fold, and then this side here will be just 2 pieces of it, and then I'm going to have seam allowances here. So I'm going to cut it. When I cut it out, you guys will see. But in the meantime, we're going to also move over to this second piece, which is the one that we traced out exactly like this other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So I'm going to just slash it like 2 inches difference, like this. So I'm going to mark another one, and then I'm going to move it again and mark this one. And just like that, I'm going to just mark it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So now I'm going to just split all this like this, and then I'm going to place it on my fabric. So guys, this part here is my zipper allowance. Let me just write it, zipper, my zip. And then this upper part here is the 1 inch. I'm going to use the upper part of this, because I'm not going to be using lining. If you're going to be using lining, just do half an inch. I have 1 inch here because I'm not going to be using lining, because I'm just going to fold it on itself just like this, right? So now the width of this is my bust divided by 4. So after my zipper allowance, which is 1.5, and then I have my bust divided by 4, which is 10.5, and my seam allowance of like 1 inch. So that's the width of this here. And then the length started from the armhole. Like I said, I want the back to be shorter, so I want it to just start right from where my armhole line is. So my armhole, my shoulder to my armhole is going to be somewhere at 10, right? So that's why my first line started at 10, and then my shoulder to waist is at 17.5. So that is it here. So I just have to go ahead and add half an inch to the bottom part here, half an inch of joining this to the bottom part. And that's basically it. So this is going to be my back panel. All I have to do next is just to go from this bottom part here and add my bust divided by 4. Go ahead, mark it, add 2 inches to it, and then I'm just going to connect from this side here all the way to the top like this. So this is going to be my back panel, and then I'm going to insert my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and then my dart is going to go all the way to this chest line, all the way straight up, half an inch on this side, half an inch on this other side, and that is it. So this is going to be my back panel. So let me go ahead and cut it, and then we'll use the pattern paper to trace out on the front for the front panel. So guys, if you're wondering, like I said, the upper part here on this chest line, which is this armhole line, which is this 10 inches that we started from, which is my armhole line, the width there is, after this my bust measurement, after this my zipper allowance, all I have here is just my bust divided by 4, 10.5, plus my 1 inch of sewing it. So but at the waist, what I have is my waist divided by 4 plus 2 inches because of my darting. Another thing I like to do at the back is go up 1 inch from this point here, and then I'm going to blend it into the side. This will help my zipper to relax better, right? So I'm going to cut this off now. So guys, this is what we have. You see my lining, it has seam allowance by the center, it has seam allowance at the bottom. The same on this one, it's on a fold. This one is on a fold. It has seam allowance by the side, seam allowance at the bottom. But if you notice at the upper part, it doesn't have seam allowance, because remember when we started tracing this, we cut half an inch, we marked half an inch of seam allowance at the top here, which is this line that you're seeing on the paper line here. This is our seam allowance line. So that's why we didn't add seam allowance at the top. So I'm going to set it aside. So all I have to do is just to take it and join it. So you see, there are 2 sides of this. There's 2 of this one here, and then there's just 1 of this. So I'm going to join each one to each side using this seam allowance. Then I've created the bust here, this structure of this. So now the next thing here is this one here. You see, you can do 1.5 in between or whatever you want to do. So, but you see, I only have seam allowance at the bottom here, because just as this one here, remember, it's the same pattern I'm using here. So I already have half an inch added to this paper here, so there's no need to add it again. I only added at the bottom part here so that I can use it to add to the band. You see, my band has half an inch at the top, half an inch at the bottom. So I'm going to use it to join this to this. So now the next thing I have here is my back panel, which you guys have already seen before. So I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, give it a dart, fold this 1 inch at the top part here, join this piece together, and then I'll bring it back. So guys, this is it here. So you see, I use this thing to gather the bottom and also gather the top part. So you see, I've also joined the 3 pieces of my lining. I'm just going to take it this way, place it on top of it like this, and I'm going to close up from the armhole all the way down to the other side of the armhole. But before I do that, I'm also going to insert this rope at this point of where this armhole is, and then I'm going to distribute all my gather and close it like this. I'm also going to put this one in here at this point where my so guys, once I close it up, so I'm going to start from this end of this armhole, join everything together, and once I close it up, even with my the tie, I'm going to double stitch when I come to that point, and then I'm going to flip it over like this and iron it, right? And then I'm also going to take the band and add it to the waist. After I've flipped it over, I'm also going to attach the band to the waist. So guys, this is what it looks like right now. So let me turn it around. You see, this strap is coming from inside of this lining. So once I flip that to the end, I join the band to it. You see the seam of like where the band was joined to the body of this here. And then once it was done, the next thing was to take the back panel and join it together to the side here. And you see, I folded the top just like how you normally fold your clothes. That 1 inch I added at the top of my back panel, I folded it first, joined it, put in my dart, and then added the strap here. You see, there's one strap to the back, there's one strap on this side, there's one strap coming from inside of the lining, and then there's another strap, and my strap is at the point where my dart is, right? So if I close it up now, you see I have my zipper allowance still, and this is what I'm working with right now. So now you can go ahead and join whatever you want to add to it, but it's a skirt that I'm adding to it, and I'm not making it a long skirt. I'm going to make it just above my knee. So that is what I have here. So the length I have here is about 22.5, right? So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the waist to, so the width first of all is my hip divided by 4 plus 1. So my hip divided by 4 is at 12 plus 1 is 13, which is the width here. And then I have 1 inch for the back panel. And the length I have here is 22.5. I'm going to use 1.5 out of it for folding of it. But how you're going to calculate else is just measure from your shoulder to where you want it to be. It can be below your knee, anywhere. And subtract your half length from the total length. Then add your seam allowance to it. So that's how you're going to calculate the length. So now I'm going to mark from my waist to 10 inches here. This is my waist to my hip, right? And then on this upper part here, I'm going to mark my waist divided by 4. Mark it here, and then I'm going to add 2 inches just like we did for the other one, which is 1 inch of darting, 1 inch of seam allowance. After that, I'm going to come down here, mark my hip divided by 4. Like I said, mark it here, add 1 inch to it for seam allowance, come down to the end, and the total length here is going to be the total length here, right? So what I'm going to do is that same hip divided by 4, I'm just going to put it here, but without any seam allowance. So basically I'm removing 1 inch from here. I'm going to just connect it here, come down like 1 inch from the hip line, and then connect this here. Also connect from the top part here, just like this. And then from the from this point here, I'm going to insert my dart. So my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half an inch, mark it here. My dart is going to stop 2 inches before my hip line. My hip is at 10, my dart will stop at 8. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark it like this. Connect it straight line up, and then half an inch on this side, half an inch on this other side. Half an inch from this point, half an inch from this point. So that means I'm going to have the dart 2 sides of the front, 2 sides of the back. So let me notch everything together once. So I'm going to go ahead and cut from this point all the way out. So guys, this is what I'm working with. So I just have to go, you see the back, I've split it open for my zipper allowance. So I'm going to add the dart. So this is what I'm going to be left with. You see, I've opened it up here. So guys, I'm going to pick my dart at the back, pick my dart in front. You see, 2 pieces for the back, 2 pieces for the back, 1 piece in front. So I'm just going to close up this side of my skirt, close up this side of, fold the end of the skirt, close up the center zipper, and then it's going to join to the center back zipper here. And then I'm going to just add 1 single zip going up here. So guys, this is what it looks like. You see, mine is done. See the inside here. You see, my lining goes all the way around here. The skirt to the band, and then close up everything to the back. You see, one zip going from the skirt to the back, and that's basically it. And then you fold the end. If yours is longer, then you can add a slit. Mine is shorter. If yours is longer, it's just going to differ by the length of the skirt. Every other thing still remains the same, and that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.